week one of the Rugby World Cup done, dusted. Holy, what a week it was. Man, I was like, woke up Sunday morning. And then, because I'm in Australia, we're in Australia, most of the games are predominantly played throughout the night. And you almost overwhelmed of how much rugby had been played. Man, it's so good to have this much rugby on. Mike can't join this week. I've actually kicked him. No, I haven't. Mike can't join this week. He'll be back for the weekend's reviews. Man, I'm going to jump straight into it. Holy, what a weekend. So we kicked it off with France beating the All Blacks. I kind of said it was a shock. I tipped the All Blacks to win, but France beat them. That review is already up on YouTube, guys, so we won't be touching too much on that. Italy beat Namibia. That was also, man, just quick. I watched like the Stan Sport does the highlights. Beautiful running rugby. That was good to see. England beating Argentina. George Ford kicking 27 points. We did a review on that already. That's on YouTube as well. And we did a little snippet on George Ford. And kicking 27 points, like that's old school England. Fly off, drop goals from anywhere on the field. How good. It's so good to watch, man. I have a little thing with the ball. Like thinking it looks really round. That might be because of the design of it. But the kickers seem to be striking it so nicely, man. Where I know at the 2007 or maybe even 11, the World Cup, the guys were complaining a lot about the ball. But these guys seem to be striking it lovely. Wales beating Fiji. Man, I tipped Fiji. I really thought they'd get through with that one, but I'll be reviewing that one today. Ireland smoked Romania. Beautiful tries there. Springboks beating Scotland. Man, that back-to-back is loading. It's definitely loading. It's shaping up nicely, and we'll be reviewing that one, or I'll be reviewing that one today. And then Japan beating Chile as well. What I loved about the Chile game and the Romanian game was that those two, they were obviously against stronger teams, but they scored first in both. So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, I don't think they scored again after, but still cool to see. So like I said, guys, I've done the review. We've done reviews on All Blacks in France and England and Argentina. That's already up on the YouTube. If you haven't, go check through. If you haven't seen it already, go check through previous uploads and they'll be on there. Today, I'll be jumping into the Boks versus Scotland. And then for me, the game of the World Cup so far, the Wales versus Fiji one. Ton of things happened. I feel like there's a lot of things happened during the World, like incredible moments already. Obviously, the George Ford one scoring 27 points or kicking 27 points is insane. But like I said, we've already done that review. And I mean, the Tom Curry incident, you're like, was it a red card? Was it a yellow? Is this set up? This is now sets up for the rest of the World Cup. So anything around that, any high contact, anything like that is just going to be, is that just going to be given yellows or reds? Anything around there. It's such a gray area, like I've said before. So it'll be interesting to see what they say, man. It needs to be black and white. We need to know exactly, okay, when that happens, boom, it's a yellow or a red. Or nothing, man. Like sometimes things are going to happen. The game happens so quickly. Everything happens so fast. You got split-second decisions to make, split-second things to make a decision. And it's like, shit, man. Sometimes you can't avoid those kind of collisions. So, man, hopefully we're not card happy to say that, man, because it'll ruin big games. But we will jump on, that's kind of the admin side of it. Man, I don't know if you can see, but I'm super, man. It's so cool to have so much rugby on. I was up, like 2 or so hours before the France and All Blacks game and ready to go. So it was cool. It's cool, man. It's good to have, and what a spectacle the World Cup is. It is just always so good. Okay, enough of that. We'll move on. So Springboks Scotland 18-3. Kind of, I think we were all kind of expecting it. There was a little bit like, oh shit, it's the first game. Will the Boks pitch up? But man, just grinding out. They know how to grind out games. You see the size, and we're going to talk about it more and more throughout the World Cup. The size of the Springboks. I think they're just a level above the rest of the countries when it comes to physicality. And we all know if your pack is physical, you're already two or three steps ahead of your opponents. And what I've loved, and I've said it all the warm up, all the rugby championship games, is that the Springboks have always been known to be big and physical, but what they've added, what their forwards at least have added, is mobility around being able to play longer minutes, but then being fitter and more mobile around the field to be in positions to play different variants from 9 or from 10, or being able to hit more rucks, being able to make more tackles, where in previous times it was like you were a big body, so you'd take the runs off the 9, off the 10, and then that'll be you for 3 or 4 phases, where these guys are now getting up and doing 3 or 4 phases back to back. I think they were told from the jump to pick out Finn Russell, because, man, he copped a few late tackles. I don't say late because I don't think any of them were called out, but, man, they were picking on him, and rightly so, because without Finn Russell, Scotland's attack goes to shit. He runs the cutter there. He is the general. He's the orchestrator, sitting at the front of the orchestra. You know what I mean? He's that guy that's doing that. Finn Russell is for Scotland's attack and even defense, I would say. On that, they still got to be smart though, because you can't, like, the landscape of rugby at the moment, you can't be late tackling or high shotting or anything like that. You'll get sent off. So they were very smart around that, tackling Finn Russell, and then maybe holding him down a little bit longer so he takes longer to get to the next ruck. I think they did that really well. I loved Manie. I mean, the talking point of it was Manie Libbok's, obviously, his cross kick, the no-look cross kick. Like, we were all for the no-look passes. That's kind of come in, and he's always someone that's going to take it to the next level. And, man, that was sexy. That was sexy. The no-look cross kick. Are you kidding me? The no-look cross kick, looked at the defender while he was crossing the kick. Holy shit. It's cool to see his skill set develop, or I wouldn't say that. He's obviously got an amazing skill set, Manie Libbok, now. But the more his confidence grows, the more he shows off his skill set. Because there was an earlier cross kick in the game that he hit with his left foot. And he's a right foot, like, he hit it with his left foot comfortably. He was doing up and unders with his left foot. So, well, I think we'll see the more his confidence grows in and being selected the whole time, the more comfortable he gets at that level, the more we'll see more of his skill set. And it was awesome to see how, because there's, again, I mean, he's kicking to posts wasn't the best. But like Sia Khaleesi said after the game, if them as a team, or as one person lacks in one area, the team will then step in to help. And Faf de Klerk stepped in, and, man, he was striking the ball nicely off the tee. And that was the only section where Libbok was kind of lacking in this weekend against Scotland. The rest of his game was awesome. He was the general, sitting back in the pocket, putting people in places, in space. So that was good. And it was a really cool little thing that Sia Khaleesi set out, kind of put all the media to tell them to shut up. Again, very impressed with the Boks mobility, the forwards getting around the park, the big boys getting around the park. I do one thing that they need to be wary of, and Scotland kind of found them out, but then couldn't execute, was the Boks of really shooting out of the line on defense, kind of one out. I think at this point, so it works. Sometimes it works. If you get man and ball, it works. This one particular situation, they had Faf. I'm pretty sure it was Faf that jumped out the line on defense and Jesse Creel, but they got the ball outside of that 13 channel. And Darcy Graham came around and they made a ton of meters. Any other day, Scotland are scoring there. A drawn pass and they could have scored, but they didn't. I think they scrambled D for Springboks is really good. But they need to be watched. They need to really watch that, because I think other teams would have seen, okay, well, that's where we can target the Boks. That was probably the only thing bad about that. I mean, they could have put the hammer down a couple times. I think if the game went on an extra 10 minutes or so, there could have been big points there. Pieter-Steph du Toit, man, I'm calling it now. If Boks make it, or when Boks make it to the final and win, he will be crowned like player of the match in the final and man of the tournament. Because holy, does he get through some work? A big man from Malmesbury out that way. I'm pretty sure it's from Malmesbury out that way. A big fella. He gets through a mountain of work. And like I said, big boy, but so mobile, man. The guys are getting through heaps of work. That his try was good. Ongoing pressure from the Boks. Keep going around the corner. Not related to is like peak J-Bay. The sets, the wave after wave after wave. Boks coming around the corner, coming around, wave after wave. You can't take every wave. If you're J-Bay, you can't tackle every Bok coming around the corner, boy. And Pieter-Steph went over. The injection of Grant Williams, holy shit, he's fast. That Finn Russell ankle tapped, yeah, that was an ankle tap away from being the try of the tournament so far, I reckon. It's just good win, a good start to the campaign for the Springboks to jump over, to get a good win, to kickstart their back-to-back campaign. As we know, they're in the toughest group, man. So win's a win, no matter how it was, no matter if you didn't score the bonus points, man. 18-3, good, resounding win. On to Scotland. I think they did well in the first half to kind of hang in there. The Boks, man, I think the Boks are almost like slowly suffocated them. Like, I would almost relate it to like an anaconda that gets a wrap around you, and then every time you breathe in, it strengthens or tightens its grip. And the Springboks were just doing that to the Scotland in the first half. Like I said, they did really well to hold on in the first half. Their scrum was very impressive. They got a few penalties and quick taps off scrums. And I think that's something then the Boks adjusted and then just mauled them in the scrums in the second half. But Scotland will be very impressed with that. Big worry for Scotland is if Finn Russell is taken out of the game. And yes, he played the whole game, but the Boks targeted him, man. And other teams will see that as well. Because of all the hype around Finn Russell, like, don't get me wrong, man. When he's on. That backline, he's singing. But when a team takes him out of the game, it's hard for Scotland to get a roll on, man, because he is the orchestrator. Everything goes through him. And I think that's where a little bit of lack of depth. Because, man, teams are going to see what the Springboks did. And, of course, the other teams have to execute it correctly. But they're going to see that, man, if you just hold Finn Russell down a bit more, every time he gets the ball, make sure someone is there tackling him or just pestering him. It makes it really hard for Scotland to get on the front foot. And that is a worry. Like, man, don't get me wrong. He tried his dick off the whole game. And it shows that little ankle tap right at the end. Man, on Grant Williams, Finn Russell was trying hard all game. Yeah, and I think that was it. There's not much for Scotland there. I think they really had to capitalize on that one they could have changed that game on that break that I mentioned before, where they got on the outside of the Springboks of the 13 channel, those out the back plays. I think they should have capitalized there. If they scored there, it would have changed that game for sure. But leaving them tryless is not. Obviously they'll be looking at a few things to take from that. Because again, I think you learn a lot more from a loss than a win, most times anyway. So Scotland will definitely want to bounce back from that, because I think they'll have to beat Ireland now to try and get out of the pool. Because you'd say they'd beat Tonga and they'll probably beat Romania. So they have to, the Ireland-Scotland game, that's going to be a bloody game and a half, mate. And I think obviously the Springboks Ireland, but Springboks Tonga as well. That'll be a massive game. All right. Then jumping over to Wales, Fiji. Oh, man. Hands down, game of the World Cup so far. Holy shit. I backed Fiji by 3. And man, they could have fucking right at the end, quacking right at the end. They could have snuck that in. Oh man, I'm gonna stay on Fiji first. So unlucky. So unlucky, man. I'll say unlucky, and I'm gonna talk. Let me get it out of the way. The Wales were warned over and over and over and over on their defensive line about ongoing infringements. The ref was pounding them over and over, warning after warning after warning. Every time, next time's a yellow, or next team warning, warning, warning. They then hop down to the other side of the field. One thing happens to Fiji and they get yellow carded. Is World Rugby not seeing this? It's like, you don't want to harp on the ref and stuff like that, but man, it's kind of like a big highlighter where it's like, I mean, we can see what's happening here. That makes no sense. So I see it was put out on social media that the ref that game was Welsh. Is Welsh, or was born in Wales. That's also not a good look neither. Again, I don't want to be barking on refs, but when you're warning one team, but then you penalize the other team or yellow card the other team for it, when the team that you warned were infringing way more, like it does not make sense. And then that team that you don't yellow card goes on to win the game by only a handful of points. It's tough, man. I said it before like the Fiji's game when they won against England. How their game has evolved. We've always known Fiji to be the elusive runners, strong runners, to throw that 50-50 pass. How their game has evolved now to show patience in attack. They hit like 9 or 10 rucks easy now. And it's going, and there's variation around it. It's Frank Lomani's going left or he's going right. There's always runners. And when they make a break, there's 5 options every single time. That Naya Kalevu, I hope I've said that right, and Semi Radradra, them two in the centers. But I would say predominantly Naya Kalevu, because he's their captain, he's their leader. So instrumental for them, man. He leads by example. Straight running, his ability to straighten the line, so getting drift balls, step straight in the line, and always have an offload option, out of this world, man. And you got someone like Semi Radradra running that offload option. Holy shit. And that was the try that he set up then for the 7 flank to score. That's just straightening the line, getting your centers to tackle on both sides of you. You've got an offload, and you've got Semi Radradra. Oh, man. Sheesh, you wouldn't want to tackle those guys. And then later on in the game, Tuisova comes on. He's built like a vending machine that can run fast. Imagine a vending machine full of drink, water, chocolates running at you with big calves on it. and he's fast, and he looks like he's going to round you. You go to commit to tackle, and he fucking drops the shoulder. Sheesh, man, he scored a lovely try as well. Just that ability to run straight, but when you think he's going to run over you, the little step, run through. They've got off, like I've said, anytime Fiji make a break, they've got 3 or 4 options to play. The support runners, so good for Fiji. I do think that at the start of the game that he might have kicked a little bit too much. Like that's not in Fiji's repertoire. I feel like the up and under kicks, like no man. If you catch it from the 10, run, boy, run. You've got that natural ability to run. Use it. What I did love about, yes, we know they lost, but what I did love about Fiji was they fought right till the bloody end, man. They could have won it right at the end there. I feel like that was that last option, the triple skip pass was not the best option to take. There was a couple of runners running short shaped lines. Could have maybe played there, and would have been an easier kick as well, because you had to kick, or they obviously had to score first, but then they had to kick the conversion. Man, so leave Semi Radradra alone, man. That was a shocker, like a terrible pass. That ball skidded over the deck. Tough one to take, man. And I know they will be gutted about that. But that just sets up that group, man. The Fiji-Australia game this weekend is going to be hot, because Fiji have to win that one, man. So that's going to be hot. So unlucky to the Bullers, man. I know they'll come back screaming, kicking and not kicking, running and screaming. It's going to be a good game, the Fiji-Aussie one. Let's go to Wales, man. Good on them for winning that one. Also tough, man. That would have been physically, there would have been so many sore bodies. I know I talked about the centers for Fiji, but man, Wales centers were just as hot running straight. George North broke the line right off the bat. I think it was first move. That option where the 9 will hit to the 12, the 10 loops, and the 13's running that short, man, the defense, the 13, you're in all sorts. You've got a player running straight at you. You've got someone out the back. You've got the 15 joining the line on your outside channel. Who do you take? You don't have 3 shoulders. You've only got 2. And even then, 2 guys running at you. So they did that. George North went straight through. And then the second time they did, I think in the second half, George North scored. Again, they played that short ball. That's with a no look, where they look out the back and play the short ball. So that was good. That was good to watch. And it was off the first break. Wales did well to show patience there, where then Josh Adams went over in the corner. Great finish. What I've loved about all teams really is after line breaks, and I think this is where what separates the great teams or the successful teams from the others is after line breaks is how the team reacts then. Because a lot of the times people get very jittery, and the first runner wants to fucking take the ball up, and that's not all the time the best option. And how they react off that, the patience shown there. I think they absorbed Fiji's pressure really well. Like I said, Fiji were good at building phases, both sides of the ruck, and Wales defended their dicks off. Jack Morgan leading the pack, the captain. Man, he can tackle. I'm not even going to get to his cross kick. Are you kidding me? A flanker hitting a cross kick for a try? Whew. That's going up on his, I don't know, he might make that as an NFT and just keep it on his wall somewhere. They did find a lot of space again on the 13 channel, again with those loops. So then again, like I said, then 13 is your hardest position to defend, especially when you've got players looping. You'll have the 10 looping, the blindside winger looping. Then you've got a short runner, and he's almost, and players are playing so flat at the line, you almost have to guess the 13. And they found a bit of space there. I love Dan. How about Dan Bigger's just intensity? Man, there was one time where George North didn't pass. It was a turnover. So we know with a turnover, you want to shift the ball. and there was a turnover, bigger shifted the ball to George North. He had players on his outside, and he took the tackle, and Fiji got a turnover, and Dan Bigger ripped him a new one. Love that passion, man. I think Warren Gatlin, coach of Wales, come out afterwards and saying he loves it as well. Dan Bigger's keeping players accountable, because we know if Dan Bigger fucks up, he's going to be just as hard on himself. And he's the talent, like the 10 is your man. He's the quarterback. You've seen on all NFLs how the quarterbacks get up their players if their defensive guys aren't looking after him. You fucking give it to him, or quack and give it to him. So man, that's good. I love that passion, man. That passion, you need that. It means so much to them. I think that's Dan Bigger and George North, very instrumental for Wales. If Wales are going to do well this World Cup, it's going to be off the back of those guys, man. They're so vital for them in making decisions in critical situations. You go watch that game. They are the reason. Those guys are probably the reason they ended up winning. Obviously, everyone else is doing their job, but Dan Bigger and George North in critical times. Dan Bigger, all of his kicking the ball beautifully. George North makes a break right from the jump. They go on to score. In the second half, George North scores a critical try under the posts to take them ahead 2 scores ahead. So very important. Dan Bigger and George North for Wales. And I think that's it, man. Guys, I'm not going to be able to review. I don't think anyone can review all of the games. I think I like to get a bit more in depth with it. I won't be reviewing all the games, but we'll be picking the nice ones, man. And like I said, we've already got the France All Blacks and England Argentina game is already reviewed up there. So go give that a listen. I'll clip this one out, but this one will be out as well. Again, guys, if you enjoy the content, man, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment. Been loving the comments. Leave all the comments. It's great. I try and reply to all of them. But it's great, man. How good is having the Rugby World Cup? How good? We'll catch you next time. And hopefully Mike will be back next time, boys and girls. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.